What's up, guys? With my main man, Andrew Bone, I'm Mick Gillispie. This is the actual recording session of the original Bama Tailgate Show segment that we've been doing for a long time. But I wanted to tell you guys that we pre-recorded this because of schedules. And then I'm like, well, might as well just let you guys have this. But it's like being at a live studio taping of maybe Bone's favorite show, Andy Griffith, back in the day. Did you like Andy Griffith, Bone?
Yeah, I never really got too much into it. My dad used to watch it all the time, but that's probably his favorite show. But I never
Dad Bone.
Yeah, I never got too enthralled into it.
We love. I grew up with my grandparents a lot, so I grew up on some Andy Griffith, but they would record it, and then it would come out. So that's kind of what the game plan is here. Like a funny story though, before we get into it, you and I were talking about the 2015 championship game. That was when Alabama beat Clemson in Glendale, which I kept thinking it was 2017, but I do a podcast with Jake Coker or Roll Tide Pods, part of like the Next Round Disrupt Media guys. And it's in my studio here. And then Ryan Anderson showed up yesterday. We were just talking about that game. And I just kept thinking about the post-game show that I did on radio since you came over and Baron Huber fell asleep on the show. That's the funniest things.
Yeah, I don't know if he was falling asleep or what, but it was.
He had a few drinks.
That was a fun. I'm glad that I wasn't a co-host that night because
no one wanted to be.
That was a late night out in Glendale. I mean, it was such a long day. I remember we were all at this Irish sports bar before. It was like the Innisfree of Glendale.
Not as good though. Not as good.
Yeah, not as good. So we saw I think it was like the official hangout spot for a lot of the a lot of the bars from Tuscaloosa. So it was a good time pregame and postgame. So that was a fun experience. Not really sure how we all got back. Yeah, we were staying at our friend Collins' house that night, and it was his parents lived out there, and it was I remember we had there was an RV that I shared an RV with Baron Huber.
Oh, and me. Wasn't I in there?
Yeah, and Mike Johnson. So it was it was a loud.
That's right. I forgot we slept in the same RV. It wasn't very big RV either.
Yeah, it was very loud because those guys snored pretty. They were shaking me. It was a fun time out. We had a good time.
Yeah, I remember you brought that up off the air, and I'm like, we should just put these out for everyone before we do the show, just because it's so funny. Yeah, these late night games like Alabama's playing on Saturday, I worry because you know what? I like to have a few brews while I'm watching the game. It gets pretty late. That's the best thing about owning your own media, well, guess what? You know what? I had a few drinks. Not that I would ever embarrass myself, but you know what I'm saying? It's a different post-game show at midnight than it would be at 5 o'clock,
Yeah, that's right. And it's like, I usually always see people, at the games, whether it's late or if it's a 2:30 kickoff, and sometimes, and I don't mind talking to people, but you're like, a lot of times you're having a few drinks, during the game, and they want to talk to you about the site, they want to talk to you about recruiting, they want to talk to you about the team. What are your expectations? And I love talking, but sometimes it's just I'm having a drink. It's just a normal Saturday.
Right. I'm just in Innisfree right now, watching Tripp run from person to person and talk to every single person in the entire bar. That guy gets around, man. So I think when we come back in town, we'll be back there. So that'll be fun. All right, boom. Well, let's get this thing going. Everyone out there, we're going to talk recruiting. And again, it's awesome hanging out with Bone, whether we're working for the same company or not. we're always on the same team. So roll tide to all you guys, and make sure that you check out Bone on 3, Bama Online, and the rest of the crew over there. They do a great job. Guys are like I would say the future of the business, but the future's now. So, that's kind of where you are.
Yeah, we're excited about being at On3. I mean, you look at our team that we have over at Bama Online. A lot of these guys have been in the business for a long time. I've been in it for 20 years. Tim Watts has been in it for over 20 years.
20 years.
Travis Ryer has been in it for over 20 years. Charlie Potter has been in it for over a decade. Jimmy Stein has been
the dean.
Yeah, he's been on the message boards, since Alabama fan sites were created. So he's always been kind of a great insider. Plus, we've got some young talent there as well with Clint Lamb and Joseph Hastings. So it's an unbelievable team that we have at Bama Online. Cranking out team and recruiting content, interacting with fans every single day on the message board, bringing everyone kind of the latest scoop, in Alabama sports and the recruiting side of things. So got a great team at Bama Online, and then we partnered with On3 Sports, and feel like the future there is incredibly bright. You can download the On3 Sports app, get Bama Online on your phone. Pretty easy to access and interact on the message board. So go check it out at BamaOnline.com.
All right, I'm about to start this, and tip of the cap to Shannon. I love when he talks NIL, and I mean he's kind of the guy that's been on the forefront of all that stuff. So great follow on Twitter as well. All right, Bone, here we go. Let's get this thing started, and you'll know when it starts because you'll hear this. Back on the original Bama Tailgate Show. Follow us on YouTube, Bama Tailgate, with our good friend Andrew Bone. I'm Mick Gillispie, reminding you that our show's always sponsored by our great friends at Yuengling Lager, a proud American beer company. 6 generations in the making. Cheryl Yuengling went to school with Bone and I, and a bunch of you guys as well, at Alabama. And Bone, I'm proud to tell you the secret to success for Yuengling is she puts a little bit of Crimson Love in each one of those green bottles, or maybe it's the new Flight bottle. I know some of you are looking for an alternative to Mick Ultra. Flight's your beer, crisp, low carbs, low calories, refreshing. Check it out. That's Flight by Yuengling. And this time of year, also, you can get the Yuengling Hershey's Porter and Oktoberfest Yuengling. So those are all out as well. This segment with Andrew Bone, a look around the SEC recruiting, a drive around Alabama recruiting, brought to you by Tuscaloosa Hyundai. Our good friend Barry Buckner and the gang at Tuscaloosa Hyundai with some amazing deals, no side stickers. What you see is what you get with Barry. That's whether he's selling you a car or you're just hanging out with him and talking. He's an awesome dude. But another awesome dude is you, Andrew. Good to see you, my friend. How's it going?
It's good. It's been good. It's probably one of our last shows together for a little bit, but
big things coming for you. Big things.
Big things.
Really little things.
Little things. We have a little girl coming next week, so we're excited about that. Been very blessed. We have a 2-year-old son, so trying to get his mindset right. Trying to get our dog's mindset right as well. So it's we've got
sit down talks.
Yeah, we've got a lot kind of going on. This weekend, we won't be in Starkville. We'll be kind of getting the house. We got the nursery ready, so that's already done. But we got to get some other things kind of accomplished before next week. So be pretty exciting time and pretty sleepless time for us as well.
Well, look, Bone, congratulations. Fingers crossed. Everything goes smoothly. And when you're ready to come back, we'll find out how it is being a dad twice coming up soon. All right, Alabama plays Mississippi State, but let's stay in the high school ranks, talk about that Thompson Clay-Chalkville football game that happened on Thursday. That was a battle of the Titans. And Saraland and Clay, to me, are the 2 best teams in the state. Although Thompson is a 7A school, Clay-Chalkville, a 6A school, but some Alabama recruits on display in that matchup.
Yeah, and speaking of best high school programs, you can't forget about Central High School in Phoenix City. They're unbelievable program as well. So, but as far as last night's game, I mean, there was certainly a lot of stars on the field, and all the eyes were on Jaylen Mbakwe. Alabama's 5-star commitment. I was getting texts from different friends of mine talking about it. I was so last night. A few of my buddies took me out for a little bit, kind of as know why, but kind of a one last night, I guess, before I have 2 kids in our household. So we went out, and a buddy of mine had the game pulled up on his phone. So we were watching, pretty much the entire fourth quarter out at Odie's in Birmingham or in Homewood, and those plays that Jaylen Mbakwe kept making. I think he ended up having over 198 yards rushing. It was 168 or 198, one of those two. I can't remember, but had 5 touchdowns. I mean, just a big performance. I mean, this is just an incredible athlete. And you look at a lot of these Alabama commits. A lot of these guys obviously made decisions during the summer, or back during the spring. Do you want to see how they're going to perform as seniors? And Jaylen Mbakwe, even though he's recruited to play in the defensive backfield, he moved to quarterback for his senior season because Clay-Chalkville felt like he could give them the best chance to win, and they just won one of the biggest games in the that we're going to see this year. Beating defending Class 7A state champions Thompson. They were ranked number 1 in Class 7A. So Clay-Chalkville, I mean, just unbelievable performance there by the team. Of course, Thompson's got some special talent as well. Anquan Fagans is a safety in the junior class, just decommitted from USC a couple months ago. You also have Trent Seaborn, who's 27, quarterback who led Thompson to the state championship last year as an 8th grader. Now just a freshman, but he looked great as well throughout the game. So there's definitely a lot of talent in that game. We're going to see some talent on display, throughout the rest of the season. But I've been impressed with a lot of Alabama commitments. Caleb Odom over there in Carrollton, Georgia. Still favorite target for Julian Lewis, the number 1 quarterback in the 2026 class. I think he's got 6 touchdowns already this season. Rico Scott, one of the best receivers in the country. I think he's got 500 plus receiving yards this year. The guys, I mentioned Central Phoenix City, Isaiah Faga and also Red Morgan, both having great years. So a lot of guys having big senior seasons for their high school teams, and I'm sure Alabama fans are eager to get a lot of these kids on campus next fall.
Hanging out with Andrew Bone. This is the original Bama Tailgate Show, Alabama, Mississippi State. Bone talking recruiting with the big weekend of high school football, or really a big Thursday and Friday of high school football around the state. Bone, Alabama got back on track against Ole Miss last week. What was the recruiting scene there, and what's it look like moving forward with 2 road games?
Yeah, obviously things slow down a little bit just because there's not going to be any recruits on campus the next couple of weekends. We'll see obviously a lot of kids in town for the Tennessee game. That 3rd Saturday in October. But last weekend there was still some good talent that was on campus, including Daniel Hill out of Meridian High School in Mississippi, one of Alabama's top running back targets. I mean, he's had a great trip to Tuscaloosa. I think he's visited 14 or 15 times. So it's kind of surprising that he's still not made a decision, but he was supposed to commit last month on the 23rd, but decided to hold off. I think South Carolina felt like they were in the driver's seat. Now it's an Alabama-South Carolina battle, but Tennessee is going to get him on campus this weekend. So that's going to be a big visit for him. So we'll kind of see how things go after this weekend. But I think as far as Alabama's concerned, I think the biggest thing moving forward is who's going to end up making it to campus next month for official visits, who's going to potentially make decisions. Solomon Williams, who is, there's not really an extensive recruiting board left. I mean, there's probably, I would say, less than 10 targets that are out there. Mm-hmm. Solomon Williams, 4-star edge target out of Carrollwood Day down in Tampa, is going to make his decision likely around October the 16th. That's kind of the decision date he's looking at. Hasn't officially set yet, but that's his mom's birthday. He's going to take an official visit to Texas this weekend. It could come down to Alabama and Texas. Alabama's kind of been considered the leader, even though he's never named a leader. Everybody just kind of has assumed. Now, he's been pretty quiet with his recruitment, but he took a visit to Austin back in late July. He's going back there again. So I think Texas has the potential to make a move there with Solomon Williams, but Alabama remains pretty steadfast in their pursuit with him. So it's all about the remaining positions of need for Alabama, and we've talked about this before. We're still looking for a running back, still looking at defensive linemen, still looking for an offensive tackle. There's still a few DBs out there, still a couple linebackers. We've really broken it down in depthly on Bama Online, kind of all the guys that are out there that they're still looking at, that they have a great chance to sign. But it's all about, can you continue to impress on the field? And I think everybody was all upset about the Texas game, and then all of a sudden, they had that close game to against USF, which let's just call that kind of a fluke. I think you line them up again, it's not going to be that like that. I think there was probably still some upset players from that Texas game.
Still getting it figured out, Bone.
Yeah,
still getting it figured out.
Yeah, and then you throw in a couple quarterbacks who hadn't played before as far as starting, and it was just kind of a recipe for disaster. But luckily, Alabama got out there with the W, and then got it together in that second half against Ole Miss. And
beautiful thing.
I'm interested to see kind of what the rest of this season looks like, because that second half was what you wanted to see. Now, can we see that the rest of the way? Can we see that against Mississippi State tonight? Can we see that against Texas A&M on the road, which is going to be an unbelievably tough environment with a ridiculous defensive front that is going to provide a lot of pressure for that defense on Alabama's offense. So can they get out of those next 2 weeks with wins, then get back to Tuscaloosa and have some road game or have some home games? So it's going to be an interesting month to see how it all kind of shakes out for the Tide, and if they can go undefeated, and get to that LSU game in early November. It's going to be an exciting time for Alabama, and we should see a lot of big name recruits on campus for that LSU game.
Going to be a lot of fun. Well, Bone, good luck with everything. We'll be pulling for you, and then when you get everything back at home, kind of down pat, and you're ready to join us again, we can't wait to talk to you. But folks, you can follow Andrew Bone, Bama Online, part of On3. You got Bone, you got the message board. It's not just recruiting anymore. It's recruiting. It's a team site. They follow Alabama with our friend Clint Lamb on there, and Travis Ryer and Tim Watts, who's been around the game for a long time. And you mentioned Jimmy Stein. It's a lot of great people at On3. I've worked with some of them, and I've known the other group of them forever. So it's an all-star team, just like the Crimson Tide. Thanks, Bone. Appreciate it.
Appreciate it, man. Have a good one.
You too. And don't forget, this segment's brought to you by our friends at Tuscaloosa Hyundai. Here's a message from our friend Barry Buckner.
Every Tuscaloosa Hyundai is value priced, and Tuscaloosa Hyundai doesn't add the side sticker. I recorded that nearly a year ago, and I'm pleased to say everything is still value priced at Tuscaloosa Hyundai. What's shocking is shoppers tell us about other dealer-added markups and pricing adjustments that cost you thousands more when you buy, and thousands more again when you trade. It's even more important today. No added side stickers is why you come to Tuscaloosa Hyundai.
All right, when we come back, we're going to be at the Floor Bama. We're going to be hanging out with Chris Bryan and Steve Powers, and who knows who else might pop in. The original Bama Tailgate Show previewing Alabama and Mississippi State tonight, 8 o'clock under the lights at Davis Wade Stadium. We'll have more right after this.